Let's return to observing the life force. Not just observing, but being absorbed into, remembering the nature of how perception manifests within the human brain. And returning to the source from where perception arises and uniting with that force that desires the perception, and therefore it arises. Perception can only be formed in accordance with the settings within the body that the force is using in order to project perception. There is perception that's unembodied, that's a different form of perception. We have that perception even right now, but we can't see it because it's so there, it's so present at all times that we've never noticed it not there. And so there's no distinction. But what we do experience is perception created from within the body. So the perception that's unembodied, the perception we had before we were born and the perception we're going to have after we die, that perception is here, it's perceiving. And what is it perceiving? Not reality, it's perceiving the perception being projected by the body. And so when this perception that's being created by the body is absorbed back into the life force, it doesn't mean that we are not perceiving. We're still perceiving, but we're not creating a perception, we're not creating a false identity that's being projected by the body. The body is silent. And then we perceive. What do we perceive? The same perception we would perceive if we had no body. That's what's hiding behind the body. That's what's perceiving the body. And so being absorbed into the life force means returning to our natural condition. It's like if I was constantly talking, and then while I was talking, I was saying to myself, how about if now we're going to be quiet? And so the same way, the life force is projecting a perception through the body, and then it thinks to itself, how about if now we're going to rest from projecting perceptions through the body? No, we're not going to be asleep, we're still going to be awake, but we're just going to cease to speak. We're going to cease to interpret. We're going to cease to create content that our deeper perception is being distracted by. And so perception itself is united with the essence of the life force. But then the life force dresses up in the body, and perception perceives the body and perceives all the creations of the body. Right now it's perceiving me speak, it's perceiving me think, it's perceiving me react to the words that are being said. All this is happening in the greater perception, which is one with the life force, the perception that I had before I was born. And so in this silence begins an awakening. In this silence, the soul can remember itself. From where does it remember itself? From where it always is. It's just not as loud as the body. So if the body is making noise, the soul is drowned out. Nobody can hear it. Soon as the body is silent, the soul is right there. The soul has been giving life this entire time. The soul has been perceiving this entire time. It was just drowned out by the busyness of the body. And behind the soul, the soul within the soul, the same way, always present, always communicating. But we are making so much noise, so many thoughts, so many ideas, so many questions and answers. Reality is not a question and reality is not an answer. Reality allows for questions and answers. And so the perception that knows the truth can only rise when the perception being projected by the body can be silenced. And that can only happen when the heart can feel safe. Projection is running, trying to protect the heart. But really, the heart is only afraid of the projections. The heart doesn't know anything else. Whatever is being perceived, the heart knows. Whatever is not being perceived, the heart doesn't know. But it has a nature, and it reacts to what's being perceived based on her sacred nature that is in charge of dispersing life on this planet. She gives life to each one according to his perception. And so if we return to the life force, if the perception is reabsorbed by the life force, then we still perceive, but we perceive from a higher place, from a deeper place, from a more real place. And then the heart gets relief. The heart is offended by our projections. The heart doesn't know any other reality. And so there, the heart can feel like she's living with her husband, or the heart can feel like she's living with a stranger. When the heart is living with a stranger, she's being abused. The stranger is the perception being projected by the body. This is not the husband of the heart. The husband of the heart is the perception that we had before we were born, the perception we're going to have after we die, the perception we have when the body is completely silent.